Next for you, we have an inspiring presentation of Dwight Johnson. A little background. Upon graduating from high school in San Diego, local boy, in the early 1970s, Dwight began a career in the commercial glass field that provided him with opportunities to work all over the world. In the year 2000, while working in Hong Kong, Dwight contracted a staph infection that resulted in the amputation of his left leg below the knee. In 2013, while working on a New York high-rise, Dwight was involved in an accident that resulted in the amputation of his right leg below the knee. Dwight fought his way back to engage in the things that he loves: fishing, martial arts, golf, and he does all of this with 2 artificial legs. Dwight's inspired to inspire others. Dwight started Soul Innovations to celebrate rather than hide his disability. His brightly colored custom shoe designs bring a smile to everyone who sees them and encouragement to those he meets. A frequent speaker, Dwight brings his story and his creations to a different or differently disabled or able people around the world. A portion of all proceeds goes to support charities that inspire people to overcome adversity. It's my pleasure to bring for you Dwight Johnson. Please come.
No one could have ever imagined, but he bounced back from a double tragedy. CBS 2's Adriana Weingold shows us Dwight's journey and how he's now helping others.
Honestly, I was laying in the hospital bed and I asked the nurse, give me the red button and leave it on. I'm done.
For a man who made his living inspecting skyscrapers, it had become the lowest point in Dwight Johnson's life.
And I was going back and forth to Hong Kong and I picked up a staph infection. Within 3 days, my foot was dead.
The only option was amputation.
I basically had to learn how to walk all over again like a child.
But Dwight recovered remarkably fast and even went back to climbing those high-rise buildings, this time with a prosthetic leg, suspended sometimes 70 to 80 stories in the air. But his luck was about to turn once again.
I think we were both kind of in shock that it happened again.
Just 18 months ago, while in New York City and working on a skyscraper there, Dwight was hit by a transit bus while crossing the street. This time, the only option, amputate his other leg.
Just go slow.
Dwight's wife, Debbie, says the second accident was devastating to the entire family, and she wasn't sure Dwight was even going to make it through since he refused to see a surgeon, knowing another amputation was coming.
We went through a couple nights where he wasn't going to go, and I kind of had to give him an ultimatum that he had to go, because otherwise he would have died on me right in the house.
Eventually, Debbie got Dwight to the doctor. Now with 2 prosthetics, Dwight is again on the rebound.
Something just told me I can do it. With the 7 kids and my wife, I wasn't ready.
One of their mainstays of support has been Tom Nomura, a clinic manager at Hanger, the company in Newport Beach that made Dwight's new legs. He's been by Dwight's side since the first accident, helping him regain full mobility, first with the use of 1 prosthetic. Nomura says he never thought the 2 of them would go through the entire process all over again.
It was his perseverance and his determination that really made it work for him.
Now they work together on a regular basis,
Get up and take a couple steps.
making adjustments so Dwight can walk, run, and even get back in the water.
It's not the end of the world. Yes, it's tough. I'm in pain every day, but I'm not ready to sit in the chair.
If it isn't enough being the lead on window inspections, getting his new feet wet, and being a dad to 7 children, Dwight also started a shoe company. The idea, look at the shoes and stop staring at his legs.
It's like when I get on the airplane, the stewardess will say, well, great shoes, who made them? And I'll say, some guy with no legs made them.
Much, much better. You're good to go.
Dwight and Debbie are also partnering with local nonprofits to help other amputees transition into new routines, helping them realize that just because you lose your legs doesn't mean you have to lose your life.
I'm hoping basically this would entice somebody to get off their rear end and get up and go.
In Newport Beach, Adriana Weingold, CBS 2 News.
Good evening. As you can see, obviously I shaved my mustache. Decided to wear some nice clothes. First of all, I'd like to thank Amy Lau for this whole presentation. Thank you very much. Every time I watch this video, I tend to lose it, so I'm going to try and do this real correct. There's a couple people that I'd like to share with. Very special. First, my wife. "37 years of marriage and 7 children later." I could have never done it without her. What she did and what I did and what we teamed up to do is unreal. Sorry. There's 2 other individuals that have me in complete awe. My daughter, Sarah, and you've met Trent. Both of these individuals were around to see both legs go by. They got to see what I had to go through, but not only what I had to go through, what they had to go through, along with my wife. Love you guys. And obviously you've met Trent. He got a sizable scholarship, and it's impressive. I think the whole organization is very impressive. I was shocked by it, but Trent and Sarah. The biggest thing about my recovery, I believe, is I was surrounded by love from the whole team. I had a great lawyer. I had a great doctor, Dr. Ross. Lawyer was Keith Moore. And I had a great rehab individual. I also had a great person in the insurance carrier. That would be Kelly Long. And she was involved with Hartford. But anyway, that's kind of where it's at. They made me the best that I possibly could be. After this review, I'm sure you have some questions. Basically, all it takes is a beautiful smile to hide an injured soul. And they will never notice how broken I am. Please keep that thought through this whole thing. I'll try and speed it up so you guys aren't here all night. After the first amputation, I just figured it would be easy. Okay? I lost a leg. Big deal. With technology, I figured I could get right back on it. I contracted a nasty staph infection while working on a job at the city center. I did 3 glass buildings there, and I was in Hong Kong. I contracted that staph infection. Next morning, I woke up in Hong Kong. I called my doctor, and he said, I told him what happened. He said, you better get on the plane. I got on the plane. By the time I got home, my foot was dead. The operating room took them 3 days to disinfect it. Nobody knew what strain I had. To this date, they still don't know. It's amazing. But I was ready to go back to work. I'm okay with it. I can handle it. Just let me back up. My wife drove me to work for 3 months. And the job that I was working at that time was the red building up in West Hollywood, Pacific Design Center. So she would drive me to work for 3 months and drop me off and stick around for 8 hours, and then we would go back. She would push me around in a wheelchair if I couldn't get around. I finally learned how to do this on my own. I figured I could do it. So I was able to drive and roll around the job for 6 months. Then, for the next 3 years, started going to New York, Miami, Houston, Montreal for all my glass jobs. I worked for a large developer out of New York. They owned 18 million square feet of downtown Manhattan. So I had enough work to go to. I loved it. I loved going outside of the buildings. My highest, I think, projection was 78 stories. I would go down on the swing stage and check it out. And one time we went down to the 20th floor and we ran out of power for 3 hours. No big deal. It's okay. I loved it. And then 3 years ago, actually 2.5, I was hurt in New York again. The staph infection that they could not figure out what it was jumped to my right leg. 3 to 4 days later, they did surgery. Yeah, it was great. I woke up. What the hell happened? Where's my legs? Who took them? Where did they go? I didn't know what to do. I couldn't do this again. I couldn't go through the rehab of another leg. I couldn't force my family to go through it, my wife, my kids. Too much, way too much to handle. I was done. I'd worked so hard on my first amputation, I didn't think I could go through the rigmarole again. Would I ever satisfy the family? How can you do that with no legs? A little difficult. How could they make it without me? Shoot, I don't know. That's when I asked the nurse to leave the red button, the pain button. Turn it on. Leave it on. I want to go. I'm done. I can't do this anymore. Then all of a sudden, the word love steps in, and I have all these people, my wife, my kids, the doctors, everybody is coming back to me and saying, you can do it. And I'm thinking, yeah, well, you're not the one. I'm the one with no legs. It's easy for you to say, okay? My doctor comes into the hospital one day and says, you're going to figure it out. One way or another, your legs aren't going to grow back. Get your, you know what, out of that wheelchair. Figure out what you're going to do. Do something with it. From that point on, I decided I was going to get through this and go on. I would make it. I can do anything, but not everything. No one told me what a wild ride this would be. From the start of trying to get in and out of the wheelchair, learning how to use the bathroom with one leg, and then because the bathroom wasn't big enough, we were living in a condo, my wife had to push me about 1/4 mile every day down and around to the community pool where I took a shower. Numerous kids, people going by, checking you out. It wasn't what I had planned. It's okay, we got through that. What basically is easy for you is extremely difficult for me. Locking the front door of your house, I have to literally stand and get my butt against the side of the door, jam, and lock the key. Everything I do is slower. Sometimes real slow. It just depends. So I had to learn how to stand and balance. I had numerous rehab sessions, taught me how to walk forward, backward, sideways. At night, I was practicing against the kitchen counter, sideways, back, forward. What the hell, that might help. Then I kept thinking, can I do this? Really? Can I do this all over again? Do I want to do it all over again? We don't know. Once I lost both legs, I went through extreme pain. I am in pain every day. I'm on pain pills 6 times a day, muscle relaxers, and they say that I'll be on that for life. It's okay. I've found a pain management doctor, great guy, and it's working out. Once I figured out how to either work with the cane or the wheelchair or crutches, I told my wife, I need to get to the public. I need to stand in front of the public and say, look at me, I can stand. I can walk again. So where do we go? We go to the mall. The big mall on Harbor Island. Everybody and their brother is looking at me, and I'm like, I didn't bargain for this. This is not what I want to do. I don't want people staring at me. And I wasn't walking that good. I know how to do the tuck and roll really well. I've fallen numerous times. I still fall. It's okay. So that's when I developed the wild shoes. I said, you know what? Because I used to be artsy in high school. I told Debbie, my wife, I said, you know, I'm going to make the wildest pair. So when I walk down the street, you're going to go, where in the hell did he get those? Okay? It took off. We're doing some shoes for some very prominent people. For example, you know Mick Jagger, the Rolling Stones, Xbox, numerous doctors, lawyers. We're even doing some last week. Debbie and I went to a coastal town. I donated 2 pairs to a girl that has cerebral palsy and wanted to be in the Special Olympics. We had New Balance create a pair of shoes, didn't require laces, and a thicker wall, because when she walks, she'd drag it. I do that too. But it was great. It was really neat to see the big smile on her face. The whole idea has just gone wild. We're on Facebook, on Instagram. We have a website, soulinnovations.com. I want everybody to walk with soul. When I put these shoes on, and I'm not here to talk about my shoe company, here to tell you what it does. It gets excited. Being handicapped like I am, this is probably the most prominent dress you'll ever see. I haven't worn pants for 3 years, and I don't intend to wear anymore. But I figured because I'm handicapped, I can wear anything I want and get away with it, because you're all going to say, he's crazy. He's handicapped, he's just nuts. So that's not about the shoe business. But it's a way for people to be happy. And one of our goals of the business is to donate 100 pair to Wounded Warriors. It's pretty sad. We're sending young, prominent individuals to war, come back missing limbs and no job. Nothing would make me happier than to go down by Blackie's, Newport Beach, and see a handicapped veteran walking down the street in my stupid shoes. Okay? It's going to get everybody excited. So enough about shoes. Again, I have the love of my wife, my kids. The entire team is behind me. If I'm on the street, don't look at my legs. Look at my soul. It's amazing. My life is not about finding myself, it's about creating myself. I hate this when I get emotional. Yeah, I'm lucky. The overall workers' comp issue went extremely well for me. Debbie and I worked with our insurer, or the people that were taking care of me, and we had to go back numerous times with the doctor and make sure they did this and that. I understand what folks are going through. The doctor doesn't return your paperwork. Okay? So, I had this brilliant idea. We'll see. David DePaulo and David Weiss, I'm sure you know, we are doing a roadmap. And maybe we could all get together. I'm open for anything. Whoever needs my help, I am open. Let's do a roadmap. Let's make it easy. Here's what's going to happen next. Here's what you need to do. Frankly, when I went through it, I was at a loss. I had a good attorney, but he also made good money too. But let's do something that will basically say, here is your map. You need to do this, you need to do this, and this is what you need to look out for. You need to lay out for this. Basically, what's going to happen with their vehicles, transportation, all that. Now, that would be for a hurt individual. There's something that really, really tweaks my hide. When people are basically cheating on the system, okay? It's not fair to you guys. It's not fair to me. I have no idea why they want to cheat this. Fraud is huge, and I wish you all the luck to capture the people that are doing it wrong. I was raised by two good parents that taught me, you do not cheat. You do not cheat the system. I know it happens. And I'm glad that you're here to take care of that, or to try and take care of that. It's phenomenal. And I've learned, that you go to make your phone calls and the doctor's putting everything off, and I don't have time for this. Again, I'm in physical pain every day. I would not want my worst enemy to have to deal with this, but I'll be fine. I'll suffer yet another pain. Nothing gets to me more than, less than the fraud, is when you see an individual in a wheelchair, and you go, how are you doing? And they tell me they had prosthetics. They don't fit right, so I threw them in the closet. What kind of a life is it in a wheelchair? I can tell you for 6 months, it's terrible. I want to get these people back to the doctors. If the thing didn't fit right, go back. It took them 6 times to get my left leg right. God knows how many for the right. but now they work together. We have to do something. I have to try and get something done for people. My wife and I are involved in an organization called Empowering Human Potential. The people that made my legs, and you saw in the video, is Hanger Corp. They're huge. They're worldwide. So they decided to bring up this program. Debbie and I are on call from the Canadian border to Mexico. Let's say you, sir, go out on a motorcycle tonight, you get in an accident, you lose your leg. The doctors have my names and other names, and a couple days go by, you're going through what I went through. The doctors call and say, can you go down and see this individual? Okay, so you're missing one leg. I have missing two. It's huge to see the response from somebody saying, all right, this fat guy with no legs, he's walking. I can do it. It's therapy for me. It's therapy for the other individual. We've gone to numerous hospitals, and this is all donated time, donated cost. It's worth the therapy for me. My wife is able to go in, discuss, maybe your wife is there, or your girlfriend or somebody, explain what has to happen, what comes up next. The biggest thing that I went through is the wheelchair was so hard I had to get a butt pillow so I could move around. I tell people, and they say, yeah, it's a good idea. But there's so many things that we can teach them. And I will continue to do this. I have a goal to get back to normal. Let me ask you this, what's normal? What do you consider normal? Is this normal? Is this normal expected for me to walk, jump? I have blades. They made me a pair of blades that I can run in. I can be like Oscar, the Olympic guy. I kept my wife. I have a pair of water legs. I grew up in Del Mar, and I surfed every day. I still love surfing. With the water legs, I'm able to go out in the water. I pretty much suck. Okay, my surfing is gone. But who cares? I'm in the water. Okay? I'm doing something. I'm moving, I'm shaking, whatever. It's okay. Again, I've been lucky. There's a huge issue that I haven't mentioned yet. And I know each and every one of you are going through it, or with your customers, or whatever it be. Mental. I have huge issues with mental. When I got hurt and I went through the whole court system, they put me through a 10-hour psychiatric review. Yeah, good luck. I understand from some other people that the wardle system for mental is not that much, or it's a huge issue to pass. Some mornings I wake up on the edge of the bed. I look down at my legs and I go, great, where's my feet? I will lay back down and say, okay, Dwight, what are you going to accomplish today? I say, okay, I'll do this, I'll do that. I get up and I put my legs on and I'm gone. There's nothing I can do about it. It's amazing, though. It's amazing. you try and hide this depression from others. That couple words that I started out in the very beginning about my broken smile and how I hide it, that was from Robin Williams. I almost spun on that one. What a tragic story. I go through that certain times of the day. I want my legs back, but it's not ever going to happen. So what do? I have to pursue on. But it's amazing. All the pain and all the anguish and all the mental issues, I don't worry about it. It'll be back tomorrow. Every day. Every single day. So I'm telling all you here, not correct English, just take the time to enjoy the simple things. Okay? Going out in the garden and watering your flowers. Changing the oil in your car. At least you can do it. For me to change the oil is going to be an 8-hour operation. I'll probably get stuck underneath the car and nobody will be around to come get me. But enjoy it. Enjoy the day. Enjoy, you're at work. Say hi to somebody new. You don't have to think about me when you go home. Take the simple things in life. You'll live a lot longer. I just turned 60. So I discounted my legs. So I added some time. So me and the big guy in the sky had a discussion. I think I'm going to go to 90. And maybe by then, they'll have my legs. Wherever they're at, somebody's got them. Somebody took them out of that operation. And they're in somewhere. Or on somebody, I don't know. But I'm going to enjoy life. Take the simple things in life. You guys live, you can say I live each day, one day at a time. With my staph infection, that nobody knows what it is, could instantly go to any of my organs. I live hour by hour. If I make it through dinner, I'm happy. I made another day. But what did I do to help anybody? Did I help anybody learn how to walk? Maybe. Get somebody motivational like I'm doing now? It's therapy for me. It's therapy for you. I'm not handicapped. I think you are. I get to decide what I do for the day. Sometimes you'll say, well, I'm going to go to work, and then things happen to you. I get up in the morning, I set my goals. If I accomplish, I was telling my wife the other night, I could accomplish 6 items, the entire list for the day. Hallelujah. Yes. They were easy. But I did it. Thank you for listening.
Well, we have time for
I have time.
5 minutes of questions. Does anybody have a question for Dwight?
Don't make a question over 4.5 minutes. Does anybody have any questions?
Okay. Maria?
So Dwight, over here, short one, right here. Yeah. So
Sorry.
you mentioned that team of professionals that really helped you get through this, and I'm an old Voc rehabber, and you said you had a good rehab person. Can you give us a couple anecdotes of how he or she was, helpful in that process to you?
Well, the first thing is I got the best that I think is around in Newport Beach. Now, maybe my wife knows the name of the company or whatever. The individual that did my rehab was 75 years old. She could kick my ass. Excuse the French. She made me work, and if I walked funny, go home and practice and don't come back till you can get it right. So I'm thinking in my infinite wisdom, I can do this. I don't need you. Well, after a couple falls and stupid mistakes, it went away. That's the whole idea of what I'm telling you. If you can afford it, and if your insurance does it, you need to recruit the best. And that would be up to what you guys do, right? You share things of where a person could go. My doctor was phenomenal. Okay? My lawyer, everybody. My kids, my wife. Any more questions? Does that answer your question? Thanks. I'm not used to the big Hollywood lights, you know?
Don't look at the light. You'll start walking in that direction. Any more questions?
So, basically, that's my story. Okay?
Again, thank you so much for sharing your story. Thank you so much for being a survivor.
Thank you. Have a good evening. Have a good weekend.
Yeah. Amazing story. Inspiring, challenging. And like I said a little earlier, I love quotes. And somebody was so kind to write something for me and leave it at where I was sitting. So I'm going to share it. Because we've all experienced this today. We've seen vision, right? We've seen vision, Dwight's wife's vision, his kids. Everyone who's been up here sharing vision. And Thomas Edison wrote that vision without execution is hallucination. Pretty amazing when you think about it. Execution is the word. So with that concludes this afternoon's general session.